So I welcome you to this coaching call number 37. In this call, we will be covering the program lifecycle activities, and today, together with the student, we will try to summarize the activities which are happening in the program lifecycle phase. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first of all, starting with the complete program lifecycle activities, we have 37 activities. In the formulation subphase, I have 10 activities, out of which 8 are assessments activities and 2 are estimates. In the planning subphase, I have 12 activities, in which 10 are management planning, 1 is cost estimate, 1 is financial framework. In the delivery phase, I have 10 activities, 5 are monitoring and controlling, 5 are management activities. In the closing phase, we have 5 activities, 2 are closure activities, and 3 are transition activities. Is it clear?
Yes. Right.
On the left side, we have written the knowledge areas, in which we have
Right.
written 14 things: integration, scope, schedule, cost is 3 times, because we have 3 activities in the planning surface: quality, communications, resources, risk, procurement, change, and information. Just to remind you again, in the PGMP, we don't have integration phase and we don't have the stakeholder phase. So we will mark it red, but just to remember it easily, we wrote it in the beginning phase. Okay.
Okay.
So now, what is our target for this coaching call? That we will summarize the activities that are going further in the program formulations phase. So in the program formulation surface, I have 10 activities: program scope assessment, schedule assessment, initial cost estimate. Then we have only one activity in the cost: quality assessment, communication assessment, resource requirement estimation, initial risk assessment, procurement assessment, change assessment, and information assessment. Okay. So now the key point to understand here is there what is the output of this every activity in the formulation phase, and that output goes as an input to what documents. In other
Okay.
words, whatever I will do in the scope assessment, for example, if I will do the scope assessment, the question will ask you that this activity will impact which of the documents. Okay, so we will see whether it will affect our charter, for example, business case, roadmap, or the planning activity of this subsequent step. Like, for example,
Okay.
in the scope assessment, in the first sheet we have seen, in the scope we have assessments, then we have in the planning phase
Um,
management planning, in the delivery phase we are monitoring and controlling. So we will see that when I'm doing the scope assessment, this will affect which of my subsequent activity. Is the
okay.
concept clear, Mundasa sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's
Okay,
clear.
now let's work on the formulation activities. So first activity is program scope assessment. And what
Yes.
is the output of this phase of this
Uh,
activity?
Program scope assessment.
Okay. So, and just as a general principle, the output of every activity is the name of the activity itself. Okay.
Yes.
So in the
Okay.
program formulation phase, I am doing, this is my activity name, which I have colored it red now. And the output of this phase is program scope assessment. And this goes as an input to what?
Program charter. Charter.
Only program charter. Okay.
Yes.
Next activity is program schedule assessment. What is the output of this activity?
Program schedule assessment.
Program schedule assessment. And this program schedule assessment goes as an input to which of the activities?
It goes an input to business case. Program business case. Program charter.
Program business
Uh,
case, program charter,
Program roadmap.
program roadmap,
Initial cost estimate.
initial cost estimate,
And schedule plan.
program
Schedule plan.
schedule management plan. Okay.
Schedule plan.
So just for the better understanding, the activity I performed was program schedule assessment. The output I got is program schedule assessment. And this output program schedule assessment will affect my business case, charter, roadmap, initial cost estimate, and schedule management plan. Next, activity is initial cost estimate is the activity. What is the output of this activity?
Initial cost estimate. Program initial cost estimate.
Program initial cost estimate, and this will affect which of my documents?
Program business case, program charter, program cost estimation.
Program business case,
Program charter,
program charter, and program
cost estimation.
cost estimation. Okay, just to keep in mind, this is initial cost estimate. So the output was program initial cost estimate, and this will help me to make the program cost estimation. This is not initial estimation, this is actual estimation, and it will go as an input to business case and charter. Then we have only one activity in the cost in the formulation surface. In the quality assessment, what is the output of this phase of this
Program
activity?
quality assessment.
Program quality assessment, and this goes as an input to which of the documents?
Business case, charter, quality management plan.
Program business case, program charter, program
Quality.
quality. Okay, good. Then we have communication assessment.
Program communication management plan. Program communication assessment. Program communication assessment.
Communication assessment, and this will goes as an input to what?
Stakeholder engagement plan and communication management plan. No business
Stake,
case, no charter.
yes, stakeholder engagement plan and
Communication management plan.
communication management plan. Good. Then next is resources. We are doing requirement estimation. So what is the output of this phase?
Program requirement estimation.
Program requirements estimation. It goes as an input to which of the documents?
Business case, charter, resource management plan. Program business case, program charter, and resource management plan.
Program resource management plan. Good. Next is initial risk assessment. What is the output of this phase?
Program business case output is initial risk assessment.
Program initial assessment, and this goes as an input to
business case, program charter, program roadmap, program business case, program charter, program roadmap.
and number 4.
Initial cost estimate
Yes.
and risk management plan.
Okay. Next, procurement assessment.
Procurement assessment. The output is procurement assessment, program procurement assessment.
Program procurement assessment, and this will affect what of the documents?
This will affect business case, program business case, program charter, program management plan.
Program procurement management plan.
Program procurement management.
Okay. Stakeholder is not. Then in the change assessment, what is the output?
Program change assessment.
Program change assessment is the output, and this will affect which of my documents?
It will affect business case, program charter, program change management plan.
Okay. And last is program information assessment. What is the output of this activity?
Program information assessment.
And it will affect?
Will affect program business case, program charter, and
Yes.
lastly program information management plan.
Good. So now let's look into this thing. I will delete what are not used here. Just to be clear, cost is only one time. I will delete two rows. Stakeholder is no longer effective here. Okay. So I told you that we have 12 activities, 10 activities in this thing. So let's count here. 10 activities are here.
Yes.
I will enlarge this for a better view. Can you see clearly, Mr. Sir?
Yes, sir. Can.
Okay. Now we have to see from the exam point of view the what the paper will ask you in this thing. So we have to find the odd one out of what is special in these things. So now let's look at the assumptions and differentiation among different outputs, and that will be the key point that we have to pick up. So we have 10 activities. Okay. Okay. So number one thing is that business case is coming in every activity except it is not in the scope. So in the program scope assessment doesn't affects my business case, and communication assessment doesn't affect the business case. Okay. So
Yes.
number one difference point is that business case is not affected by scope assessment, comma, communication assessment. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is the first difference we have found here. Secondly, charter is in every activity. Charter,
Sir, communication.
charter, charter. Only it is not in communication assessment. So I can write here that program charter not affected by communication assessment. Okay. And what is the other observation that you can have, Mr. Sir?
Scope assessment only goes to charter and to no plan. Except scope and every output goes to business case. Except scope and communication, every output goes to business case. And every operation is going to charter except communication. And roadmap is affected by schedule assessment and risk assessment.
So program roadmap, in which of the things we have roadmap? One roadmap is in the
Schedule affect the
schedule
schedule
assessment, right?
and
I will highlight this as blue. And roadmap is in
risk assessment.
yes. So roadmap is only in two activities in the formulation phase, which is so program roadmap is affected what initial
Risk assessment,
schedule
initial schedule,
assessment and initial
risk assessment.
risk assessment. Okay. What other differentiation point can we find here?
Um, so these are the only ones.
Initial cost estimate is only affected by initial cost estimate is in two. One is in risk and here in the schedule. So again, initial cost estimate is affected by schedule assessment and initial risk assessment. Okay. So this is the key summary point of the formulation activities. We have 10 activities. The output, the name of the output is actually the output name of the activity itself. If you're doing scope assessment of the scope, the output will be program scope assessment. Okay, this is number one observation. And the output goes to business, mostly in business case charter, and the manage and the plan of its subsequent of the same knowledge area. If we are doing schedule assessment, it will affect the schedule management plan. If I am doing cost estimation, it will affect the next step, which is cost estimation. If I am doing quality assessment, it will affect the quality management plan. If I am doing communication assessment, it will affect communication management plan. If it doing requirement estimation, it will affect the resource management plan. If I'm doing risk assessment, it will assess the risk management plan. Procurement will affect the procurement management plan. And the other only important activity is program communication assessment, because this output doesn't go to the business case and the charter. Pick the odd one out. It only affects as an input to the stakeholder engagement plan and communication management plan. Communication management plan is simple, because this is the plan that I will make from this activity, and I am only going to affect the stakeholder engagement plan and not directly the business case and the charter. So that's why communication assessment is the different in all the activity that we are going to do. Any question, any query till now, Mr. Udar?
So it's clear.
Okay, so I think it's very good that we have made the summary table. So very easy to remember. Don't need
Yes,
to
sir.
grasp what is input, what is output. Just try to make the overview concept that this activity will affect what of the document. So principally, the assessment will be the output itself, and it will be affecting your subsequent management plan of that knowledge area and business case and the charter. So in the question, whenever he will talk to you about the activity that is affecting your business case and the charters are in the formulation surface activity. These are basically the assessments and estimation that we are doing. When we will go to the next phases, like in the planning surface or delivery phase, closure phase, they will not affect my business case and the charter. You remember from the strategic alignment domain, we are making three important documents. That was business case, charter, and the roadmap. So it means that the activities that I am going to do in the formulation surface activities, which are the estimation activities and the assessment activities, will affect in the preparation of the business case and the charter. And out of that, we have find the pick the odd ones out. Business case is not affected by the scope assessment and the communication assessment. Charter is not affected by the communication assessment. Charter is in every activity. Roadmap is affected by the schedule assessment and the initial risk assessment, and initial cost estimate is affected by the schedule assessment and the initial risk assessment. And one more, and the more important thing, communication assessment does not affect the business case and the charter. Program communication assessment not affect program business case and program charter. Principally, is it clear, Mudassar sir? Okay, good. Now let's go to the, we make the activities for the planning phase. So we have covered the program formulation surface activities. Now we are going to do planning phase, planning surface activities. So just to keep in mind that the life cycle, the phase of the program is program definition phase. Under the program definition phase, we have program formulation surface and program planning surface. Under the program planning, what I'm talking about is from this sheet. Under the program definition phase, I have program formulation and program planning surface, and now I am focusing on planning surface, in which we have 12 activities. So I have opened it in a new sheet. So first is integration. As I told you, in integration and stakeholder, we don't have any activity in the PgMP. So I will delete integration and stakeholder from here. Okay. So in total, we have 12 activities. So just put it 12 so we are sure. Okay. Stakeholder is deleted. So we have 11 and 12 activity. Okay. So in the first step is the scope. The activity name is scope management planning. What is the output of this activity?
Group management plan.
Okay. So in every activity, the first output will be the plan itself. Okay. So I am doing the activity of program scope management plan. So output is program scope management plan. The other activity is
Scope statement. Program scopes.
program scope statement, and third activity is
WBS. Program work breakdown structure.
work breakdown structure. Good. So here we are not talking about the input to some other phase like we did in the formulation phase, because this, keep in mind, this is the end of my definition phase. So once I will make the plan, the definition phase will be finished and I will be going to the program delivery phase, in which I will be using these plans to carry out my activities at the component level at the delivery phase. So here I am only focused there what is the output I am getting from these activities. Okay. So in the scope management planning activity, I will be getting scope management plan, program scope statement, and program work breakdown structure. What is the second activity?
Program schedule management.
Program schedule management planning. So principally, what will be the first output?
Uh, a schedule management plan.
Program schedule management plan. What will be the second output for this?
Program master schedule.
Master schedule. So this is very important. We are making the master schedule in the, and then subsequently it will go as an input to the disk register and the roadmap. But this is a further step. Here we are only focusing on the outputs. So the next is cost.
Cost
Keep in
estimate.
mind, keep in mind in the cost we have three activities that we are doing in the planning surface, which is cost estimation, financial framework establishment, and financial management planning. So I will name it as planning, financial framework establishment, and cost estimation. So what will be the output? Okay. So keep in mind there are three activities. In the first step, which is cost estimation, what will be the output?
Cost estimate is program cost estimate.
Yes, program cost estimate. I will get once I am doing the cost estimation. The second output will be cost assumption.
Estimate. Cost
co-
estimate assumption. Yes.
Cost estimate assumptions. And what will be the third output?
Uh, component cost estimate guidelines.
Component cost estimation guidelines. Okay. So this is the output of my cost estimation activity. The next is financial framework establishment, in which activity I will be trying to establish a financial framework. So what will be the output of the what will be the first output of this?
Program financial framework.
Program financial framework. What will be the another active output?
So that's the only one.
Okay, the others are business case update, updates to communication management and stakeholder. But at this moment, just keep it to this financial framework. In the financial management planning, what will be the output?
Program financial management plan.
Management plan. Next,
Financial management plan. Okay. Initial program budget.
this is the most important output here. Initial program budget. Next, funding
So,
schedule.
so you did not write a program financial management. You write program management plan. Mistake.
Yes, thank you. Program financial management plan. Initial program budget. Funding schedule.
And component payments.
Component payments. Okay. And input to receipt is the second thing. Okay, so in the course we are making doing three activities. which is cost estimation. It will give me program cost estimate assumptions, component cost estimation guidelines. Then I am doing financial framework establishment. Output will be program financial framework. Then I am the next activity financial management planning. I will get program financial management plan, initial program budget, funding schedule, and component payment schedule. Okay. The next is quality management planning. So what will be the output of the first step?
Quality management plan,
Yes.
quality policy,
Quality policy,
quality standards,
quality standards,
quality estimates of cost,
quality estimates of cost.
service level agreements, SLAs.
Don't get confused with service level agreements in the procurement, because normally the contracts is talking about in the procurement, but this is service level agreements. So this is from the how you which quality of the services you are giving here. Quality checklist.
Quality checklist, quality assurance, quality control specification, QA/QC specifications.
Okay, so in the quality management planning, I am getting these main outputs. Then I am in the communication. I do the communication management planning. So what will be the first output?
Uh, Communication management plan
Program communication management plan.
and communication requirements input to stakeholder register.
Communication requirement input to. So actually we are defining the stakeholder register as per the requirement of each stakeholder. What does each stakeholder need? So that will be managed in the communication management planning activity. Then we have resources management planning. What will be the output?
Resource management plan
Source management plan.
and resource requirements.
So we will be calculating actually what are the resource requirements for my program, and accordingly I will manage them and I will plan for them. In the risk, what will be the risk? I'm doing risk
Risk,
management planning. So what will be the output?
risk management plan
Program risk management plan.
and risk register.
So this is very important. Risk register we are making in the program definition phase. Procurement management planning I am doing. So what will be the output?
Procurement management plan,
Procurement management plan and
procurement standards,
procurement standards.
budget,
We are updating the financial plan and the
and
budget,
budget.
because if we are going to, like in the procurement we actually do make or buy analysis. So that is the procurement, whether we will buy something or we will make something. In the change management planning, what will be the output principally?
Change management plan,
Program change, program change management plan, and
change thresholds.
change thresholds means at which level, what are the threshold level above which the manager the response plans has to be triggered. And the last
So
is program information management planning. What will be the output?
program information management plan
Program information management plan and
and program information management tools and templates.
information management tools. And
Templates.
so this covers our 12 activities. So here now we have to find the important words. What he will ask you, that in which of the activity are you making the program work breakdown structure? This is important. So that we should know this in the scope management planning. In which phase are you making the master schedule? That is in the schedule management planning. In which phase are you making the initial program budget? So that is in the financial management planning, that is in the planning sub phase, and that is in the program definition phase. Budget is very important. We are making in the program definition phase, we are making in the program planning surface, and more specifically in the financial management planning activity, in which activity we are defining the service level agreements, that is in the quality management planning. In which
Yes,
phase
sir.
I will defining the uh, risk register, that is in the risk management planning. And in the procurement, we have to define what the in the procurement standards, make or buy
Correct.
analysis in the procurement, and change thresholds are in the change management planning. So the question that he will ask you there is about, whenever you will get the question from the formulation phase and the planning phase, the key term will be, he will give you the output, that this you are doing the output is the scope assessment. So this is coming from which of the phase of the program, that will be in the program formulation phase or the program definition phase. Then he will ask you that which in which phase are you making the business case, or which of the outputs or which of the activities are affecting your business case and the charter. It means he is talking about the formulation surface activities. Whenever he is talking about in which phase are you making the plans, that will be in the planning surface. And then we have to see that which type of the plan he is asking from us, and subsequently any type of the plan is made under the planning phase, planning surface of that relevant knowledge area. And important are the master schedule, which is in the schedule management planning, budget is in the financial management planning, WBS in the scope management planning. And it covers your program definition phase activities, which are 22 in total, under the division of 10 in the formulation surface, 12 in the planning surface. In the 10 out of in the planning in the formulation surface, we have 8 assessments, 2 estimates. In the planning surface, we have 10 management planning activities and one cost estimate, one financial framework. And we have seen how what is the output of each formulation phase activity, and it goes as an input to which of the document. And then we found out that business case was not affected by the scope assessment and communication assessment. Program charter was not affected only from the communication assessment, because communication assessment goes as an input to only stakeholder engagement plan and the communication management plan. Roadmap is affected by the schedule assessment and the initial risk assessment, and initial cost estimate is affected by schedule assessment and the initial risk assessment. And program communication assessment is not affected by the business case and the is affected does not affect the business case and the charter, and subsequently in the planning phase. So this covers your complete 22 activities of the program definition phase. Any
Okay.
confusion, any question, this is up till now?
No, sir. Okay.
So thank you very much for attending this coaching call. I think it will be very, very helpful to understand the key inputs and outputs from this definition phase activities. From the exam point of view, don't try to remember it, just try to focus it, which input is going to affect which of the output, and then we'll solve your keywords in the question. So thank you very much. Have a good day and see you in the next call.
Thank you, sir.